Hey, you're listening to Ty Bollinger of CancerTruth.net. You're also listening to Justin and Kate with Extreme Health Radio. These guys are great. Enjoy listening to them. I always do.
Welcome to Extreme Health Radio. Extreme Health Radio.
Where natural solutions to almost every health condition are out there. Join us on our journey to find them.
Now here are your hosts,
Broadcasting from sunny Southern California around the world.
Justin and Kate Stellman.
The fireworks go off once again. Pyrotechnics.
That's quite the intro, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
We are dealing with a couple little sound demons here, aren't we?
Still.
Yes. We have yet to figure out this sound issue. So we apologize if you're listening to this and you hear
that.
Please know that we're working on it, and there's some things that we're going to be trying here, and hopefully we're going to be getting to the bottom of this sound issue. So I just want to let you guys know that up front. My name is Justin, and you've got extremehealthradio.com / what do we got? 166? 166, and that
female
noise,
voice.
that female voice you heard.
Kate. Yeah, your sidekick.
Katie Kate.
That's right. So Chris Kaylor calls me, and I love it.
Katie Kate.
That's what my good friends call me.
I know they do, huh?
Yeah, it's fun.
You have some people that call you Baby Kate.
That's true, and that's kind of weird.
And the music went out. So that is some of the sound issues. So just bear with us here today. For reference, today is Thursday, October 21st, 2013. It's
actually October 22nd.
Is it?
Yep.
Good night.
You do this all the time.
9 days away from Halloween.
That's right.
October 22nd, and like I said before, this is episode 166. If you guys would like to be on the show, you can do so. You can just email Justin at extremehealthradio.com.
Or Kate, Kate, at extremehealthradio.com.
And you can also leave a voicemail. All you got to do is click on a little voicemail tab on the right side of our website right now, and you can leave a voicemail straight from your computer. Great way to be on the show. And also, if you guys would like to support us and help keep the show free for everybody, a great and easy way to support us is through Amazon. And all you have to do is go to extremehealthradio.com / Amazon. And that will just redirect you over there, and you can make a purchase. It doesn't have to be health related. Every time you make a purchase, you could do that. And
especially with the holiday season coming up, that'd be awesome.
That'd be a huge way to support us. And maybe tell your friends to support us that way too, if you can. And just looking at our upcoming show schedule here, lots of great guests. We're going to have the king of raw food coming up, Mr. David Wolf.
That's a big one.
The guy who changed my whole perspective on living food and life food and all that stuff. Yeah, Mr. David Wolf.
I haven't been on with the last one with him, so that'll be great.
Yeah, that'll be a fun show. Then we've got Dr. Robert Silverstein, and he wrote a book called The Maximum Healing, The 5 Basics for Health. And then after that, we have Dr. Robert Rowan.
Oh, right.
So that should be, he does the Second Opinion newsletter, and he's friend and colleague of, what is the name of the guest that we interviewed about parent essential oils? Professor Brian Peskin.
Oh, right.
So Dr. Robert Rowan is I think he's a raw vegan guy. So that'll be a fun show. So lots going on here on Extreme Health Radio. And if you'd like to follow us on Facebook and keep up to date with everything that we have going on, please do so. You can do so extremehealthradio.com / Facebook. Click the little like button there that they have for you, and you can...
As you would say, you're off and running.
You're off and running. You can keep up to date with our future shows, our past shows, our upcoming schedules, all kinds of inspirational content and good stuff from us. So we'd love to interact with you on Facebook. And today we have our resident energy medicine man, Mr. Chris Kaylor, and he is someone who was introduced to us probably about, 6 months ago or so?
I think that's about right, yeah.
And he's been on episode number 95 and 124, and this one is episode 166, and he's a holistic energy practitioner up in Canada who uses pendulum, dowsing, sacred geometry. I love that.
I know you do.
I got nothing against sacred geometry, let me tell you. Pyramids. I love the pyramids, too.
I know.
And he first finds the area in the body where the health problem exists, and then he uses sacred geometry to neutralize the stressor in that area through energetic medicine and specific healing protocols that he's come up with. And he's certified in quantum touch, live blood cell analysis, and radionics, which is pretty interesting. And he's also the owner of Quantum Point Technologies, the maker of energy wristbands such as the Sleep Band. So he's taken some time out of his busy practice up in Canada to join us today. How you doing, Chris?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, sounds like you're a busy bee these days, huh?
Yes, things are getting pretty busy. The technology I'm working with is really starting to ramp up. The energies are getting strong, and people are starting to wake up to the fact that energy healing has got some merit and credibility to it, so I'm quite grateful for that.
Yeah, are people waking up, you think, more around the world or just kind of in your local area, your life kind of thing?
You know what? There's certain areas around the world that have woken up before other areas. The city where I am, in Winnipeg, Canada, it's going to take an earthquake to wake us up. Very, very conservative city. But if you go to Europe, certain areas in the United States, California, for instance, Florida, very, very awake and open to this type of thing. But I do have a lot of clients in Europe, especially Denmark, Norway, Germany. People are really into this type of work, and they know it works, and the word gets out, and people are interested, and they're pursuing it.
Do you think there's any relationship to geographical location and the amount of people waking up in those areas?
You know what? Of course, that possibility is there, but I think it's more just people in general in certain areas. If you look at Europe, okay, they want nothing to do with Monsanto or genetically modified foods. Mm-hmm. So right there and then you can see that they are aware, their consciousness is higher, that there is certain things that they need and certain things that they don't need.
Yeah, I noticed Hungary has kicked Monsanto out of their country, and Hungary really has taken a strong stand against Monsanto.
Right.
Do you think that there's anything going on with like ley lines or anything that's happening in specific areas that allow people maybe to tap into vortex energy or something in their area that could help them in that way?
That's nothing I've really come across as of yet. Ultimately, there is the fifth dimension consciousness that a lot of people are hearing about and talking about, and I think certain areas may be more receptive to that if your vibration is higher. So you've got, it could also be the vortexes that cause certain energies to rise and people be more awake. So there's probably a lot of things involved that don't really know about. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. As long as people are open and awake, that's what matters.
I'm sure you're familiar with the 100th monkey syndrome, right?
100th monkey syndrome. That's a new one to me.
Okay. Well, it's this idea, I don't know if it's called syndrome, the 100th monkey experiment or idea. And it's a story out of, I think it was an experiment they did in Japan about 10 or 15 years ago, where they had, I could be butchering this, so if you're listening to this and you actually know the finer details of this, you might be thinking I'm completely wrong. But the story goes that, at least according to my interpretation, that they gave these monkeys on this island in Japan a coconut to try to get into. And as a result, the monkeys would try and couldn't figure out how to open the coconut to get the meat and the water out. And eventually, I'm not sure if they cracked the code and figured out how to do it themselves, or if someone showed one of the monkeys how to do this. But so what they did is they did this on one island. They replicated the experiment on a handful of different islands. And as soon as the monkey on the one island, the original island, learned or figured out how to open the coconut, it was like a domino effect all around all of the other islands. All the monkeys just somehow figured out how to do it. And I wonder if there's something going on with the internet causing everybody to wake up in that same kind of vein where, like you said, people just around the world are just, their eyes are opening up to this kind of stuff.
Okay, well, let me explain the 100th monkey scenario then.
Yeah.
This is called consciousness, okay? It's a collective consciousness where a monkey gets a thought. He figures out how to do it. He cracks the code. And through thought, this consciousness connects with all of the other monkeys, okay? So their DNA is connected on an energy basis. Now, this thought is going to relay, just like the Internet. It's going to go to other consciousnesses within other islands, and all of a sudden that thought, that idea is going to flick into somebody's mind. You know, we're sitting here doing something, and you're thinking of something, how to figure out a problem. All of a sudden, bing, a light goes off, and you figure it out. Well, where does that thought come from? It's a collective consciousness. It comes from either possibly your spirit guides, or you're tapping into some other consciousness where that idea of energy is there, and you tap into it and you figure it out.
So the interesting thing to me is, like, we think that thoughts originate in our mind, but what we're really trying to do is allow the thoughts to come into us from somewhere else then.
Thoughts come into our consciousness from everywhere, from different dimensions, different areas of the universe, different parts of the globe. You name it, thoughts can come in. Thoughts travel at the speed of light. Thoughts are energy. A thought can come from anywhere, anytime, anyhow.
Yeah, I've heard stories of Beethoven and these inventors who, go to sleep and they dream and they come up with the schematics for all their blueprints, and they're just getting this inspirational thoughts and messages at the drop of a hat during the day, and all these kinds of stories just kind of permeate history. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, people when they're sleeping, they can be doing astral traveling. They can go a little forward in time, go to different dimensions.
Wow.
Where all this exists, and bring that back with them in the form of a memory or a subconscious thought. And all of a sudden you access it, and there's the fix right there. That's
just fascinating.
Can you explain what the fifth dimension consciousness is that you were talking about?
The fifth dimension consciousness, it all has to do with things like the age of Aquarius that's coming about on us. Consciousness, if you look at what consciousness is, it's awareness. So, if you put it into a sentence, are you aware of your surroundings? Are you conscious of your surroundings? So the more conscious you are of your surroundings, the more you notice. So let's say you only notice 10 feet in front of you as a consciousness. So if your consciousness level goes to another heightened energy rate, now you can see 40 feet in front of you, 60 feet in front of you. You just notice more, you're aware of more. Now, to put that into perspective in what's happening today, let's take governments, for example. So you see what's going on with the whole government in the States with shutting down the government. Of course, there's another issue other than the debt ceiling. There's other issues involved. Mm-hmm. So as you rise in consciousness and awareness about things, you begin to understand and see what is really going on beyond that.
Right.
That's interesting. Wow. With that word consciousness, I also heard a definition recently that not only is it an awareness of things around you, but also your identity and who you are. And so it's just fascinating. It seems like you said earlier, that more and more people are becoming more conscious, or waking up, or whatever term you want to use, because, 15 years ago, I don't even think people knew what Monsanto was,
That's right. To put it into perspective with the work that I'm doing. So my consciousness on a daily basis is rising, and I got certain tools that I work with that actually bring my consciousness up different levels every day. So what that means for me when my consciousness and my awareness goes higher is that when I'm dowsing with my pendulum, I'm able to go deeper and deeper and deeper into what a health problem is within a person. So if I've got somebody who I've been working on, let's say, for a couple months, and I just can't seem to find the issue, all of a sudden my consciousness level goes higher up, and I'm able to get to that point to be able to find the problem.
Wow.
So it just rises in order for you to be able to get to the solution of that.
Correct.
That's interesting. So do you ever find people that you have to work with where you have to raise your level of consciousness so much higher than you thought you had to in order to get to the root of their problem? Yeah,
there's certain people, specifically, with severe cerebral palsy or some type of a really deep personal mental issues that is not. I'm not quite at that level to get to it. So when I do raise my consciousness, like I do every day, all of a sudden things get a little clearer. So yeah, so there are tough cases that I do come across. Not everything is simple like I want it to be, of course. If we don't have challenges, then we don't learn. So I get past those challenges by raising my consciousness and bringing in more wisdom and knowledge.
Well, that makes sense. We had a guest on yesterday who, what was his name? Larry Lytle?
Dr. Larry Lytle.
And he went into how he has a new modality, or not new, I guess it's a technology and a modality of healing with light and lasers and really cool things like that. But he brought up the fact that we were going to have an energy guy on today. And he said that from his experience, I believe it was, Jay, he was saying that the energy healing he totally believes in, but he says sometimes he thinks that the negative thoughts in our minds actually can block that energy. Have you come across that as far as healing, in people's healings and not healings?
Oh, absolutely. Thoughts are energy. If there's a negative block, now the scenario is if somebody comes into my office and they totally don't believe in this type of work and they're completely against it, but they're doing it and they're doing it against their will because their wife wants them to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Is it going to work? The chances of it working are lessened, of course, because this person is like, oh, this ain't going to work. And if it does work, it's not going to be because he held a pyramid over my head and told my problem to go away. When I do the work, there could be some changes, but this person may not recognize that it's the work that I did. Now, when you talk about negative thoughts blocking something, it could also be somebody else's negative thought acting upon your consciousness that blocks it.
Interesting.
Whoa.
Okay, and that in all intents and purposes is called voodoo or black magic.
So really, that spooky word, voodoo and black magic, those spooky words are just energetic thoughts. Maybe someone thinking really bad thoughts about you or whatever
wishing
they
something
may be.
upon you. Or?
Yeah, wishing something upon you. That in essence is what you're talking about, voodoo.
That's right. Now, when with voodoo, there's different levels. So that's level number one. Let's say entry level voodoo is thinking negative about somebody on a daily basis, or when you're with your group of friends, you keep talking negatively about somebody. Oh, so and so did this and that, and they think they're so good. Blah blah blah, and we keep on talking negative about somebody. And the higher end of voodoo, which everybody kind of relates to, is when you stick pins in a doll or something like that, or you take chicken feet and you make up a special incantation brew or something, or you burn candles. I've worked with both ends of voodoo. There's actually a client of mine in Florida who is under an incredibly strong voodoo spell from a voodoo witch. We know who she is. And I've actually got a sample of this person's hair being delivered to me today. So I can take this person's energy and try and shut her down, because she is causing a lot of people a lot of grief. And we know this for a fact. A lot of people know that this person in particular is practicing voodoo and causing ill health on people.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
And so what kinds of things would you do to neutralize that?
Well, what I would do is I would take the hair, which is, part of this person's DNA, okay? It's her energy, her DNA. So I would just work on the hair as if it's the entire person sitting in front of me, and I would find all the areas within her body that have demons in it, have the devil, and all these different dark things that would be working with her to have all this voodoo and black magic happen. So I could just basically neutralize all the bad stuff out of her at a certain level, fill her full of God's light, and she should get weaker.
Wait, she should get weaker? How do you mean by that?
Well, her black magic abilities should start to go away.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the client
the woman
of yours.
herself.
I see. Okay. Wow. That's crazy. So how would you know that? I guess the results that your clients would have being affected by her.
Well, the story goes is that this client was seeing this lady's son as a boyfriend, and this lady moved in with her to live for a while. And as soon as that happened, this person started getting really sick, and a lot of bad things started happening to her. And some psychic people, looked at this girl and said, "You need to call Chris, because he's the only one who's going to be able to help you." So she called me, and we did a lot of work, and it did make a lot of differences. But things still kept on happening. I'd do the work, she'd feel better, but then a few days later, she'd feel sick again. So just 3 days ago, she calls me up and says, "Hey, Chris, I found this person's hair tucked away in a corner of my daughter's room." And I says, "Get it out of there." That's how she's keeping a connection, is that her DNA is there. So on a psychic level, she can keep on connected to this person through her hair. So she gathered up the hair. I said, put it in an envelope and send it to me. I want to take this person and remove their abilities to hurt you. So everybody knows about this person. Everybody knows what's going on with her.
Wow.
So why do you think there's a connection between a physical piece of matter like that and the energy that surrounds it?
Well, it's the aura is still there. The energy of that person, because it's their hair, it's still there, and through that we can make the changes.
Wow, that is fascinating. We're going to take a little break here from voodoo magic.
It's awesome.
This is just fascinating information.
Yeah.
If you're interested in Chris Kaylor, if something that he's saying is piquing your interest, you can check out his website, chriskaylor.net. That's KEHLER.net, CHRIS, chriskaylor.net. And you can also listen to his other shows that we've done with him, episode 95 and 124. And this episode is 166, so if you have any comments about what he's saying, you can also place them in the comment box below. And we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, I want to ask Chris a little bit about some of the work he does with Lyme disease and some of his different pyramids and things like that. So we'll get into some fun stuff with Chris Kaylor right after this break. I have been a huge fan of rebounding for many, many years, and if you want to get in great cardiovascular shape, tone your legs, back, and butt, and stomach, as well as cleanse your lymphatic system from toxins and chemicals, you just have to start rebounding. It's imperative. And not only will it create endorphins that quickly become addictive to you, but it's very low impact as well. It helps to prevent sicknesses and diseases, as well as increase bone density, and it flushes toxins from your lymphatic system. It's amazing. And not only that, but it's a ton of fun also. I do it every single day for about 15 minutes. And we found the best rebounder on the market today in the world, bar none. It's called the Bellicon Rebounder. It's the Rolls Royce of rebounders, in my opinion. And let's listen to some of what our guests have had to say about rebounding. Robert von Sarbacher is a health researcher and creator of the Mini Beat Protocol. And Robert, what's your favorite exercise?
In general, probably one of the number one anti-aging exercises on the planet is rebounding. So 15 minutes a day is good for that. You can find people who have had thermography scans on cancers, giant tumors, and when they're doing a rebounder, it would start spewing out and shrinking right in front of your eyes, the tumor would, as they're on the rebounder. So it's really good for that sort of thing. It's also very good for exercising internal organs. It's the only internal organ exerciser that I know of known to man.
Dr. Lindsay Duncan is the CEO and founder of Genesis Today. And what's the best way that you think of to stimulate the lymphatic system of the body?
Rebounding is incredible because it's good for the lymphatic system, and there's more lymph fluid in the body than there is blood. And the quickest way and the most effective way to get the lymphatic system flowing is through rebounding itself.
Yeah, because the lymphatic system can't really detox itself, can it? I think you know.
No, the heart, we have the heart, thank you, for pumping blood. And we don't have a heart to pump lymphatic fluid. The only thing that really can pump lymphatic fluid is cardiovascular exercise utilizing the thighs, the thigh muscles. And that's why rebounding and getting a burn in that thigh muscle is so important for the flow and the stimulation of the lymphatic fluid.
Wow, and they even put cancer patients on rebounding, don't they?
Nutritionists do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but not a conventional doctor. But yeah, I've been learning about rebounding lately. It's quite an amazing thing.
Yeah, rebounding's amazing.
Health researcher and author of Cancer Step Outside the Box, Ty Bollinger. What do you do in your life to prevent cancer?
What do you do to treat cancer? What do you do to prevent it? Rebounding is something that I try to do on a daily basis. A little mini trampoline for those people that aren't familiar with the term rebounding, but it's basically just jumping up and down on a little mini tramp. What that does is it stimulates the lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is one of our primary detoxification systems in our body, and most folks don't stimulate their lymph flow, and so the toxicity in their body builds up because their lymph is not stimulated, and the up-down motion on a rebounder stimulates the lymph flow better than just about any other exercise. So I do that almost almost on a daily, probably 5 days a week, I would say I average doing that.
And finally, author and speaker and creator of the Longevity Now program, David Wolf. Do you think the Bellicon is the best rebounder on the market today?
Absolutely. I was just with the crew in Europe that does the Bellicon rebounder, which is an incredible rebounder. My God, what a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't use metal springs. It uses like flexi ropes. So it's very soft and fun, and it's just great to play with.
Well, there you have it. The up and down G-force actually stimulates every single cell in your body. It's incredible. And as someone who works out in the gym a lot and does Chi-gong, I think that the best physical aerobic exercise, in my opinion, is rebounding. It's just absolutely incredible for the human body. And the Bellicon is silent, and it comes with a warranty, and you can get them in several different sizes and colors, and some of them have bars that you can hold on to in case you're worried about balance. It's a well worth it investment in your health and in your future. So check them out in our store if you'd like, or you can check out the videos on extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. That's B as in boy, ELLICON.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide.
Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates
at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
So, Kate, during the break, I just had an interesting thought concerning what Chris was saying.
What's that?
Well, it's just interesting. I mean, what we were learning yesterday from Dr. Larry Lytle about how negative thoughts pulls electrons from the atoms from the
atom, right?
And causes the cells to go haywire as a result. And what Chris was just talking about here with the voodoo magic and all this kind of crazy weird stuff like that, I thought, what if we just focused on the opposite side and how that would change our physiology, and not only that, but how it would change the physiology of other people by praying for them or thinking positive thoughts about them or whatever you want to do towards somebody else. Imagine the benefit it would do for your own physiology, but then also the physiology of the person that you're directing your thoughts towards. You know what I mean? I mean, you could use the opposite for the good.
I'm sure that is true.
Yeah. Anyway, so cool. If you want to check out that Bellicon, please do. We love that machine, and it is such a great machine. So don't forget to check that out. You can look at it in our store as well if you're interested. And also, as the lady said, don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Love to have you join our community. We're posting a few times a day on there, and upcoming shows, past shows, archive shows, all that kind of stuff. We're really building up a lot of people on there, as well as lots of older shows that you can listen to and be reminded of. So make sure to follow us on Facebook. And Mr. Kaylor, so we wanted to move a little bit into Lyme disease, because I think you've been having some, or you at least have been working a lot lately with that, right?
Yeah, Lyme disease, I'm finding, is a very big contributor to a lot of health problems. Ultimately, Lyme disease can mimic 250 different diseases and illness. So ultimately, wherever the Lyme disease, what it actually is a bacteria. It's called a spirochete, or a spirochete, however you want to pronounce it, which is kind of like a corkscrew type of bacteria. And when it gets in, it corkscrews itself in. So if Lyme disease finds its way into your brain, you may have severe migraines, of course. You may have periods of schizophrenia. You could have different psychosis happening, depending on what gland it gets in what area of the brain. Same with other areas of your body. If Lyme disease gets into your muscles, well, you've got really sore, stiff muscles. If it gets into your joints, you have arthritis-type symptoms. So ultimately, wherever the Lyme disease goes, now how does Lyme disease go just to certain areas? That's where the whole spiritual consciousness comes into play. If you've got some type of spirit within your body that's creating created from let's say a negative thought, then the Lyme disease is going to go to those weak areas or the area where the spiritual consciousness is. So it really correlates down to a certain type of interaction, let's say, with negative thoughts, different spirits, and the disease itself.
That's fascinating. So I'm sure people could do spiritual exercises that would enable them to become so strong in a spiritual sense, to not have any of these weak links that people tend to have. You know, if people have a weak link for cancer, or at least a gene, and they have a weak link for it, then that gene may be expressed. But I think there's spiritual work people could do to actually shore up and not have any weak links. Couldn't people do that?
You know what? You got to be one strong spiritual person not to have any kind of energy, spiritual attachment. On a daily basis, I have to clear myself out. Specifically with different extraterrestrial attachments and that type of thing. Because a person like myself, anybody who's of the light, anybody who has an intuitive nature, or somebody who works with energy, they're on a daily basis, they're going to get attacked by these different energies to try to keep them down. So, you know what? I don't care who you are. If you're the Pope, you've got some kind of spiritual attachment. It doesn't matter who you are. There is going to be some type of spiritual attachment there. It's just part of life for us.
Go ahead.
Are there ways then that people can rid these things without the work of energy medicine, or is that just?
You have to know exactly what's going on within your body, what type of attachment it is, where it is, how to get it out. Universal law says that if you're going to look for a spirit or some kind of negative energy within your body, if you identify it and identify the area it's in, it has to leave. Okay, but you have to identify it. Let's look at the devil, for example. Okay, if you look in the Bible, the devil's got many different names. The identification is very important. So generally, I work with the devil, Satan, Lucifer, and Beelzebub. You have to identify what name tag that energy is wearing in order to get rid of it. Let's take hide and seek, for example. If you say 1, 2, 3 on Kate, but it's really Justin's not caught.
Wow, yeah.
So with Lyme disease, this corkscrew-like spirochete goes through and burrows into the cells and the tissues of the body, depending on where the person may be weak, and then sets up shop there and kind of screws things up. Is that kind of the idea?
That's correct. Here's an example. I worked on somebody today in Tijuana, Mexico, who's got an enlarged prostate. Okay, and this person had Lyme disease within that area of his reproductive system, but nowhere else. Okay, but he also had a spirit, a poltergeist within that area. So that's the correlation. That's how come you only get cancer in one area. Okay, how come it's just there and not other places? Because the cells go through your body and stuff like that. So it's an energy that's drawing something to an area.
Well, is Lyme disease, because everything is energetic, is Lyme disease any different than anything else in terms of how difficult it is to remove from people?
No, it's not difficult at all. As long as you know how to do it, what to look for, and what to use to get rid of it. Lyme disease can be tricky. Like I said, it can mimic. Now, the big word here when you're working with energy on something like Lyme disease is the word mimic. So at that point, when you're trying to find it, what's it mimicking? Okay? So if you can identify that. Now, I just found something a couple weeks ago that enables me to get past that mimic. So what I do is I look for something called Buff's disease, Buffs. And you won't find Buff's disease in any kind of medical journal or anywhere on the internet. It's an identification that my spirit guides gave me to look for. If you have Lyme disease, there's a good chance you have this Buff's disease. What Buff's disease is a veil that doesn't let you see the Lyme disease. So you're going to be reading other things into it. Once you remove this Buff's disease, then you can see clearly into the body and be able to find the Lyme disease and move it out. Now, with Lyme disease, you also have to know that there's about 14 different types of bacteria, okay? That they're all called Borrelia spirochete bacteria, and there's different types. Just looking at my charts here, let's see. There is Borrelia turdae, which is the most common one. There's Borrelia andersoni, Borrelia japonica, Borrelia lusitani. So there's many different types of Borrelia bacteria. There's also, let's see here, Urchella, what's it called? Oh, also, wait, hold on. Borrelia burgdorferi is a common one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also Ehrlichia chaffinus, which is very common. So you have to know to identify, if you're going to use energy, you have to identify which one it is to move it out. Now, so if, let's say you don't want to use energy to remove Lyme disease. You haven't got access to it. If you use liquid silver, silver is antibacterial. Silver will have a very good chance at removing the Lyme disease.
Interesting. So you can take that in liquid form. Could you take that in other forms as well?
No. Silver, it's got to be a liquid.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. And so the way Lyme disease actually burrows in, but then it mimics, and then it also sets up camp in a way that it hides itself from the immune system is pretty fascinating. The way it would do that, it would know that the immune system would recognize it, and as a result of that, it would hide itself in a coating or something. That's just fascinating how that works, isn't it?
Well, you have to realize that okay, bacteria, virus, they're all living organisms. They have consciousness. If they know on a conscious level that they're being attacked, they're going to try and hide. Same thing with parasites. Let's say you got a bowel full of parasites, and you go to the doctor and they do an endoscope and they go up your intestines to see what's going on. The parasites are going to take off. They're going to migrate, so nobody can find them.
Yeah, our body is much more of an ecosystem and energy than it is a machine like people think, isn't it?
Right.
That's fascinating. Is there a correlation between Lyme disease and heavy metals in the body and things?
Generally, if you're going to have heavy metals, there's a good chance that your pH is going to be acidic, and an acid body is an environment for things like Lyme disease and parasites and that type of thing. So one thing may create an environment for another thing.
Is there, do you think, a difference between the acid-alkaline pH balance of like your blood versus your colon versus your liver versus your pancreas? Do all these things have their own pH, or are they all kind of similar?
Yeah, they can all have their own pH values. They're not going to be all the same. Urine and saliva are going to be two different things depending on, is your urinary system really backed up with toxins causing a low pH or an acid pH compared to your saliva. So there is going to be differences, of course.
Why do you think so many people are mineral deficient? There's so much of that going on in today's world.
Well, mineral deficiencies. I do work a lot with different mineral deficiencies and excesses. So mineral deficiencies, quite often, if you're taking any kind of over-the-counter medications, if you're taking cold medications, anything like that is going to strip nutrients from your body. So if you look at all the foods that what we buy off the shelf, if you're not eating organic, natural foods, you've got chemicals and different things within the food that will strip away nutrients. Smoking will strip away nutrients. Drinking alcohol, especially wine, will strip away nutrients. So that's why everybody needs to take a mineral supplement on a daily basis to keep their minerals up because of all the stripping that is being done. And also if you got, again, an acid pH, that also is going to aid in minerals not absorbing into your body.
Why would wine in specific be have more of an ability, I should say, to strip nutrients from the body?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, it's just teasing your wife.
I thought that might be directed when I heard that little laugh, Chris. Oh, me and my wine, my love of wine.
I love a wine.
Oh, you're funny.
No, so
I had are you done with the limes?
No, go for it.
No, I'm going to change subject completely. Well, Chris, I was curious too. I know we emailed back and forth a little bit about some fertility stuff for the women out there. How many women? I mean, are you working with? Is the population of women you work with the main problems that they're coming to you with fertility issues, or is it mostly other health issues?
You know what? Lately, I have been helping a lot of people with fertility issues. And, you know, ultimately it doesn't become that big of an issue at all because ultimately a woman's body is designed to bear children, okay? So you know, I just do my general work to find out what's happening within the uterus, the reproductive system, mineral-wise, and that type of thing. I mean, I've got a 2-year-old son now because I did lots of energy work on my wife. We tried to have kids a few times. We had miscarriages. Did some energy work, and now we've got a 2-year-old boy, and in February we have a daughter who's going to be born.
Yay!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So it works, okay? I've actually worked on some family members who were trying to get pregnant. They couldn't, so they stopped trying, and they got rid of all their baby stuff, and they said, we're not going to have kids anymore. We've got 2 kids already, and we're happy with that. Well, I did some work on her, and she got pregnant.
Wow.
And then you're reinvesting in the baby stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
We have to revisit that after the break. We've got to take a little break here.
I want to go back.
Yes, because I've got some more questions also about minerals and things and how that relates to pregnancy and stuff. So we're with Chris Kaylor. If you're interested in his work, again, make sure to check out his website. Awesome stuff. He's got some crazy products. Go look at his products. Got some weird stuff. Pyramids, energy wands. I think you'll like it.
I'll tell you, my neutralization ring is my favorite thing. I use it multiple times a day.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Check it out.
ChrisKaylor.net, KEHLER.net, and we'll be right back with him after this break. I have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar called Good Morning, Good Evening, Chi-gong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress. And stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong, Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself. So go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
Well, we're having a great time with Mr. Chris Kaylor, aren't we?
As always.
The weirder the stuff is, the more I find it interesting.
I love it.
So if you guys are interested in that Qigong course, you can always check it out in our store. We have a brand new store on our website, and you can watch some more of the videos on there too. Lots of good stuff on there, and that's a really great way to support us and get some really unique kind of products and gifts and things like that. And as the lady said, if you'd like to join our newsletter, we'd love to have you a part of that. We've got thousands of subscribers to that, and we give away a free ebook called Lessons from the Miracle Doctors by John Barron, which offers tons. It's like 177 pages. He's got tons and tons of natural remedies for things, how to do colonics, how to do enemas, how to do all these natural healing protocols on yourself. And the book sells for $20 on Amazon right now, but we're giving it away for free. So if you want to join the newsletter, love to have you do that. You can just sign up and I'll send it to you immediately. And you can check that out. And before the break, we were talking with Chris Kaylor about fertility issues.
Yeah.
And what did you want to tackle first, Kate?
Well, yeah, Chris, I was wondering, the women that you've worked with, from what you've seen, do the fertility issues tend to be more of a spiritual problem, or is it more of a physical or equal?
Well, fertility is going to be just like any other problem within the body, okay? There's going to be, obviously, some type of spiritual involvement, some type of negative energy. But, of course, the main culprit is going to be something that's not working right within the reproductive system. So you have to look at what the issues are within a person. Are they able to get pregnant, but they keep on having a miscarriage, or is it that they just can't get pregnant, or what's going on? So, of course, you have to look at the overall health of the entire reproductive system.
Yeah.
One of the factors, of course, is hormones. Pregnancy is 98% hormones driven. Okay, so if the human chorionic gonadotrophin hormone, which is the pregnancy hormone, isn't present, then your body is not going to sustain a pregnancy. That's the pregnancy hormone. That's what they use when you pee on that little stick. That's what they're measuring, the amount of that hormone. When that hormone is elevated, it shows that you've got a pregnancy. Other things that can occur, of course. Now, hormones are mineral-driven. If your minerals are deficient or imbalanced, it's going to cause a certain hormone deficiency, because if the area that makes that hormone, the ovaries, the uterus, all the areas within the reproductive system aren't making that hormone, you're not going to have a successful pregnancy.
So not only can people be deficient in certain minerals, but they could also be imbalanced as well. They could have too much of certain minerals. Yeah,
certain minerals, there's a few specific minerals that if they're imbalanced, like the copper-zinc balance. If that is way out, copper is really low, zinc will go really high, that will cause in itself a whole lot of different problems. Same with sodium and potassium for your heart, okay? That can cause a lot of different problems. But one of the main mineral deficiencies that is present, that I find a lot with women having fertility issues, is selenium, okay? Selenium is very crucial in pregnancy and for fertility. So if you look up the signs of selenium deficiency, you might check off 4 or 5 or 10 of them and say, wow, I'm selenium deficient. But ultimately, it's why are you selenium deficient? So you have to look into the different areas. Is there an excess of a certain mineral that balances selenium, and so on like that? So you have to look at 4 or 5 different aspects of what's causing the fertility issue.
So if you were, I mean, obviously this is the case because you did what I'm about to ask you, but so many women out there get told by their doctor, you just you can't have kids. There's something wrong, and you're never going to be able to have kids. Now, obviously, there's something there that they should look at, because the doctor isn't always correct. I mean, like, you were having issues, and you did some energy work, and you rebalanced your minerals with your wife, and did some energy work, and all of a sudden you have kids. So if the doctor tells you these things, it's just an offer. It's just a suggestion. It's not set in stone. Yeah. So, people could work with you or do some sort of live blood cell analysis and figure out where they're deficient and really make some headway, couldn't they?
Well, ultimately, you know what? I'm not the do-all to end-all, of course. Now, if you're having a health issue, fertility, whatever it may be, and the doctor can't give you an answer, and you've gone to a few doctors, look into some kind of alternatives. Do some research. Educate yourself on different ways of working with your body. Of course, 1,000 years ago, there was no doctors. What did we do when we were sick? We used a plant, and we made a mustard plaster or something, and we, used natural things to heal our bodies. So educate yourself. Number one, education is key. Don't just listen to one person's opinion. Of course, doctors are very smart. They know what they're talking about. They're not stupid. They just not psychic, okay? They just can't look into your body and see what's wrong. They pretend they can do that, but they just can't. So find somebody who can help you and give you a different alternative look at what's going on. And sometimes, yes, it may just be a mineral deficiency. Sometimes it may be something spiritual. It all depends on what's going on in your body. Five women with fertility issues can have fertility issues for different reasons.
So what do you think is the biggest hormone, the biggest mineral, or the most important mineral you think that, you mentioned selenium. Do you think that's the most important hormone for fertility?
There's selenium, there's, they all come into play in different aspects. Boron is a very crucial mineral for balancing the hormones within your body. So with boron, you can have, deficiency symptoms of arthritis, muscle pain, osteoporosis, hormonal imbalance, which is, a big thing, loss of libido. So if you don't have libido, you're not going to get pregnant.
Right. Step one.
so yes, you know what? In all reality, pretty much any and all minerals are crucial in a balance for your body to do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember David Wolf a long time ago saying that so many people get hung up on vitamins, but really it's minerals that are the most important thing. And he gave these examples of mineral-rich orange trees that could grow in the middle of winter up in Michigan, and all these kinds of things, plants and trees doing things that they ordinarily shouldn't be able to do because they had the right kind of minerals. And I guess it's the same with us. Imagine if you had all engines firing and you had your minerals working correctly, then your hormones would work correctly and you would just be firing on all cylinders. It would just be pretty amazing, I'm sure.
That's right. With vitamins, your body can produce vitamins if you have the right mineral complement for it. Vitamins are very, very available in our foods, and our body can make them. Mm-hmm. Minerals our body cannot make. We need to ingest them through a plant source or a food source. So when somebody comes into my clinic, I do some work with people. It's very, very rare that a vitamin deficiency comes up. It's normally a mineral deficiency that we have to worry about. So if you're somebody who takes a lot of B12 for energy, you need to look, why do you need to take B12? What's the deficiency in a mineral that's causing the B12 absorption not to happen?
Interesting, yeah, because there's a cause and a reason for everything.
Right.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So there's a reason why if someone's unable to get pregnant, I mean, really it is a spiritual issue because there's a deeper spiritual thing. Let's say it's physically caused by an imbalance of minerals or hormones. I mean, that's a spiritual issue too, right? I mean, everything is a spiritual issue.
Of course. We're spiritual beings. We're all beings of light and energy. And if that light and energy imbalance is off, well, then it's just going to compound certain problems.
How important do you think it is in order to bring in a new generation of people that are going to be the type of people that we want on the earth, people that are awake and aware, people that are conscious, people that are open, people that are loving? How important do you think it is for the mother and the father to prepare for a pregnancy by doing everything they can to bring in a healthy baby?
Oh, it's crucial. I mean, ultimately, two people in love are going to create a baby. If there's no love in that relationship, it's going to be a loveless baby. I mean, you know what I mean. There's going to be some disruption. If mother is pregnant and there's lots of fighting going on within the relationship, well, that's negativity. The baby hears it, at a subconscious level, and it's going to resonate with that child as it grows up. You reap what you sow, right? So, it's all simple things to think about. Proper eating, proper nurturing, a good attitude towards the pregnancy, and just being in love and happy is really all that's needed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because we see, I mean, you see it too, everyone sees it, where these kids are born to houses where the husband and wife or the boyfriend and girlfriend are fighting all throughout the pregnancy, and that's not going to create the kind of world that we want,
No, it's not.
Yeah, fascinating.
Sadly.
Yeah, so now what about spiritual attachments? Do you work with people that have spiritual attachments issues?
Every day. That's generally one of the biggest parts of doing any kind of energy work with somebody, is getting the garbage out of the way. Spiritual attachments can come in many different forms. Like I said, the voodoo black magic thing is always there. If you've had a family member that's very close to you pass away, there's a good possibility that the spirit of that person doesn't want to let you go, and they'll hang on within your astral bodies or maybe within your physical body. And over a bit of time, that's going to cause disruption within the energy of your body, and it's going to create a problem.
What do you mean?
Your body's going to say, hey, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I'm going to create a problem to get your attention.
So they don't want you to go? Is that what you said?
They don't want to let go of you, okay? They don't want to go into the light. They don't want to go into their heaven, okay? They want to stay here with you and protect you or be with you because they love you so much. And it's also a possibility that spirit may not know it's dead.
Whoa.
Wow.
How do you even know that?
Yeah.
When you're working psychically and you work with this type of energy all the time, you really get to know exactly what's happening within those dimensions and that energy. And it's I use my pendulum very often to talk to spirits people who have died. I talk to spirits, and I get answers, and they're pretty credible answers for a lot of people.
So I imagine that everything is spiritual and things like that, but I imagine that attachments in general to things, people think that they are their body, people think that they are their work, people think they are their career. They're working out at a gym and someone takes their machine, they think that's their machine. All these little attachments we have, those are spiritual attachments too, even though they're kind of physical object. But
personal attachments, of course, are there. And for a lot of people, when there's something like that happening, there's some kind of confidence issue happening, right? This is mine, you can't have it. Okay?
Yeah. Doesn't play well with others.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, there's that ownership over things that we think we have, right?
Right.
Yeah, when in reality, we're just borrowing everything, aren't we?
Of course. Time, we're borrowing everything, and we got to pay it back once we're done.
I love it.
That's a great way to put that.
With spiritual attachments, people must have these because it's more when you have physical attachments and smaller attachments in your daily life. You think those are easier to recognize. I would imagine, like don't get in my lane. This is my lane when you're driving, kind of thing. But spiritual attachments, people probably aren't even conscious and aware that they have these things, right? That's the first step, isn't it?
That is the first step, and people have to be educated that something like this does exist. It does happen. I like to use the analogy. There's a movie that came out a while ago called R.I.P.D. I don't know if anybody that saw the trailer for it, but it's about police officers who die. They go to heaven. They get sent back to the earth to arrest spirits that are causing problems.
Oh.
Okay. I do that for a living. Okay. Removing spirits is probably one of the biggest parts of what I do. If you don't remove the spirit and you get rid of the health problem will come back.
Can that same spirit re-inhabit you once you've cast it out, kind of thing?
When I take care of a spirit, okay, what I do is I make sure it's not going to cause a problem again. I take it, I tuck it away, I send it to the light, my guides take it over, my angels take it over, and it's told you may not come back, only to visit, but you can't cause a problem. So there is intent with the way I do things that it's not going to come back.
So if someone has a nagging health problem that seems to go away after a spirit is taken care of and then it comes back again, could it be another spirit altogether, or it's just that
it's possible, of course, yeah.
Interesting.
I wonder why they would have that happen. If they had, like, let's say they had something going on with their liver or something, some organ, and then you cleared some work and you did some work with them and you cleared the spirits or you cleared the energy, and it comes back. Why do you think it would come back for these people?
Possibly because the person is inviting it back. It could, subconsciously there could be a certain relationship that this person has with the spirit. Generally, like I said, when I do the work, it's not going to come back. If it does come back, it's probably something else that the person has invited in, or it's just something completely different.
So what's the difference between playing with the Ouija board and things like that, where people kind of have fun with these things but they may unknowingly invite in, bad spirits or whatever, and doing meditation or doing something like that? Is there a difference between these things?
Yes and no. The Ouija board itself, I believe, is designed to bring in bad spirits or to open portals and vortexes for negative type entities to come in.
Wow.
So most people who use a Ouija board, they think it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, and they don't know what they're doing. So they start talking to a spirit. As soon as you acknowledge the spirit, then you're giving it permission to come in. Okay, so if you're going to use a Ouija board, you have to set boundaries. You have to verbally say, these boundaries exist when I use the Ouija board. Any spirit I talk to may not enter my body. It may come to visit, then it has to leave. You have to set these intentional boundaries. Now, when people meditate, of course, you're accessing different dimensions and you're opening your chakras. And if you're not taught properly, when you become open, you're open for business, and different types of spirits who are trying to get in can get in that way.
So is there a proper way for people to meditate that we should know about in order to protect ourselves?
When it comes to meditation, I'm not the smartest guy to talk about meditation. For myself, I don't. The traditional meditation is, you envision somebody sitting cross-legged in a yoga position with your hands touching your fingers, and you close your eyes and you go
right.
and you meditate.
Right.
For me, my meditation is taking my pendulum and asking questions. That's my meditation. So of course I'm opening myself to bring in knowledge and answers. But because I've been doing this so long, I know how to protect myself. I can easily keep anything from coming in.
Gotcha.
Ultimately, if you want the ultimate protection, the neutralization ring.
Really?
Meditate with the neutralization ring, and anything that comes in goes back out again.
Chris, what is the difference between the neutralization ring and the sun ring?
Neutralization ring will neutralize negative energies out of anything. Okay? Everything contains negative energy. Food, water, your computer, everything. The sun ring will add energies, and basically the energy of the sun, not the heat of the sun, but the energy of the sun. I should send you guys one. You'll love it. So when you take, let's say, a plate of food, you put your plate of food over the sun ring, it's going to put energy within that food. So it's going to make the food more absorbable into your body. It's going to enhance the nutrients with it. It's going to possibly change the inorganic spin of the DNA to an organic spin and that type of thing.
Wow. So one is the neutralization is deflecting or transmuting bad energy, and then the sun ring is actually pulling good energy into it.
That's correct, yes.
Wow. So are there times, like, say we have both, say you have would you use the sun ring on something that's already looking good, like an organic type food, to only boost that up, or would you use it on things that are not so good, like a fried hamburger and fries? Or would you want to use...
You can use it on anything. If you got something that's pure, purify it even more.
Gotcha.
Give it the energies of the sun ring.
So, Chris, the other day we went to...
Are you going to tell this story?
Crow Burger the other day over here in Orange County, and they sell this really great grass-fed beef and these hamburgers and things, and so we decided to splurge and go get some of that.
And I said, it's a special night. I'll have a glass of wine. I'll bring my neutralization ring.
So we're sitting there, and Kate got quite a few stares from people with that neutralization ring.
I stuck it on the table and put my glass of wine on it like you tell me to. And I was just waiting for our server to say, wow, because it looks like a coaster, you know? And she never said anything, but if she were going to, we were making a joke. If she asked me what it was, I was just going to say, well, I'm neutralizing my wine. I'm taking out all the negative aspects. And it was great. But man, since you have told me about that though, and I have done that occasionally when I go out with friends and have a glass of wine, and it doesn't even affect me like the same way. It's very strange.
Yeah, that's right. Anything negative within what you're eating or drinking, no matter what it is, you pull the negativity out of it, and you may not get. Let's say you take a 2-6 of vodka, and you neutralize it. You're not going to have such a bad hangover in the morning.
Gosh.
or okay, so that type of thing, because it's the negative impurities within whatever is you're ingesting causes a reaction, a toxic reaction.
So say with that glass of wine, when you're neutralizing it, when it goes into your body, is that saying that it's not actually, can it not cause you harm, or it won't do you good?
It's going to greatly reduce any harm caused to your liver and to your cells and to your brain, because of course you're going to get a little tipsy on it.
Sure.
So it just may not be as harsh as it normally would be if you didn't neutralize it.
Wow, that's powerful.
What are some ways that people can use the pyramids that you have to sell on your website?
The pyramids are really cool. For people who don't practice any kind of healing or energy work or anything like that, ultimately, if you took one of the pyramids and you stuck a tack within your ceiling over your bed and put a fishing leader, hang it from there, and then you hang the pyramid from the fishing leader over your bed and sleep under it, it's going to just continuously enhance the vitality of the cells in your body. Ultimately, it'll slow down the aging process somewhat. Okay, it's not going to turn you into a 10-year-old again, of course, but it is going to help to slow down the aging process. They've done experiments with the Great Pyramids of Egypt where they would throw a big hunk of raw meat into one of the pyramids, close the door for a couple of weeks, and you come back, and the thing is hardly even deteriorated. Okay, so the pyramid energy itself will enhance vitality, longevity, and that type of thing. When you take the pyramid and you add intent to it, the way I use it within my clinic, you can basically get rid of any health problem whatsoever.
Whoa.
So if you took that pyramid and you put it over your food and you said, transmute all inorganic to organic components in this food, it would do it. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, it would do it. It would purify the food. If you knew what was wrong with the food, so you know you've got some soy and it's Monsanto soy, you can restructure the DNA of the food from inorganic, GMO, to organic, pure.
That's fascinating. I mean, it's interesting that they chose that shape to build in Egypt and all around the world. There's something sacred about that pyramid shape and structure and how it pulls energy. I mean, there's definitely a reason for that shape, and especially, I mean, you know this, being so familiar with sacred geometry and things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Pyramids. If you look way back in time, there's pyramid structures all over the earth. Not just the plateau at Giza. They're in China and all these different European cities. There's pyramids everywhere. And back in ancient times, way before we were even here, there's other civilizations on this earth. I mean, you look at different structures at Machu Picchu and all these different places where these stone monuments have been built, and nobody can figure out how they built them. These are built by high evolved civilizations that were here before us. Mm-hmm. And the pyramids themselves are a part of a large energy grid to make energy so that these civilizations could survive. That's what it's all about. They're just ancient energy sources that are no longer active.
That's fascinating. So what people do is they create these little pyramids, and they're on your site. They're 7 inches tall, I think, and so people can use these, put them over their bed and put it over their food. How else could they use these things?
Basically, you can hang it over your fridge. It'll prolong the life of your food in your fridge. Just by holding it while you meditate, will raise your energy and enhance the meditation. And like I said, just giving it intent, holding the base of the pyramid towards your head and saying, remove my headache, neutralize the headache, your headache goes away.
Wow. I'm sure that's a conversation starter when people come to your house.
Yeah. People don't dare get me going with a conversation. My wife and I go to a party and she says, you're not going to talk about your stuff tonight, are you? I says, only if somebody asks.
That is funny. Wow. And so you also have this crystalline beamer with shungite. What is that all about?
The beamer is another type of energy tool, and it has its own healing properties. So if you envision a wand, a crystal wand, and it's got different inlays of different crystals to mark the chakra points and that type of thing, a lot of people will use something like that. The beamer is basically the same thing. It's made from copper pipe, but it has the energy within it of the 5 noble gases. Noble gas means they don't mix with anything, so they're very specific to their own nature. So when you hold the beamer and you point it at a specific area of your body, same thing. You give it intent, it is going to remove pain, it's going to remove a virus, or whatever. You can also use it to charge things. So if you've got, let's say, a copper wristband, you put it in the neutralization ring, you take out all the negativity, then you take it out and you hold the beamer to it and you say, you charge it with energy and vitality. You wear the wristband and the energy and vitality in your body is going to raise a little bit. It's not going to put a big S on your chest and you're not going to be able to jump over tall buildings, but it is going to help to raise your energy. And if you're a sensitive person to energy, you'll notice it.
Wow. So interesting. Do you work with the flower of life at all with people?
The flower of life, I used to a lot, but now, of course, that energy is within me. So I don't need to access the flower of life anymore. I used to, some of my old videos show that I have got my left hand on the flower of life, and that's to, gain access to its knowledge. Now, that energy, because I work with it so much, it's just within my body, and there it is.
Wow.
Do you know, is there a difference between the flower of life and the Sri Yantra? Have you heard about that?
That doesn't ring a bell for me. There's so many different sacred geometry energy sources out there.
Yeah.
You can learn a new one every day for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Wow. So what kinds of things, just wrapping up the show here, what kinds of things are you moving towards in the future?
You know what? Just progression. Finding the cures for different things. I do have some specific health issues I'm working on with a few different people. One of them, there's a lady I'm working with. She has a tumor the size of a softball on her chest, and we're working with that. And I could actually send you pictures how it started out and where it is now. It's like half gone, but it keeps on regenerating. So we're learning how to get with that. So just my own ascension. Ultimately, I want to get into my wristbands and be able to make a wristband where you wear it and you lose weight. Okay?
Wow.
In Winnipeg, I want to make a wristband, you wear it, and you repel mosquitoes.
Wow.
It's a matter of getting to that level of ascension to have that knowledge to know exactly what to do. And ultimately, it is within my spirit guides. Now, talk about spirit guides for a second. A week and a half ago, I got all new spirit guides because I went to another level of ascension. So now these spirit guides do not facilitate what I'm doing, and I've been given new spirit guides.
So as you move up in ascension, you outgrow.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. I have worked with some people to enhance their own ascension, and I call it spiritual development. So these people want to find out what their gift is, what their purpose is on a spiritual level, of course. So I do lots of clearings, lots of reconnectings, and quite often it ends up that the pendulum says replace spirit guides. So I do that, and it brings them up to those new levels.
That's interesting. So people, these days have a lot of childhood trauma issues and past trauma issues in their lives and this kind of thing. And I imagine that you could have a lot of success with people like that. We're clearing that stuff out so they can get to a point where they're figuring out what the heck they're supposed to be doing here on Earth, right?
Yeah, that's right. When you clear away all of the garbage, the trauma, the shock, all these bad memories and bad energies, it brings about clarity to your consciousness, and it helps you to get to the point where you need to be at.
So people can contact you still via Skype. Is that kind of your main way if they're overseas and things?
I do Skype, email, telephone. The work that I do, it's all energy. So, of course, we can do it on the telephone. We can do it over Skype. And if you're, of course, in Winnipeg, Canada, you can come into my office. But the phone and Skype are two basic ways where I work with people. And I also, if you want to get a hold of me, just send me an email. That's probably the cheapest and easiest way to do things nowadays.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's great. So you can just schedule an appointment with you, and then do you work normally in hour increments, or do you do half-hour sessions?
Yeah, the sessions are 1 hour. If we just did half an hour, we wouldn't get enough work done to make a difference. So I like to keep it to 1 hour. Costs are very cheap. You know what? I'm doing God's work here, so I'm not going to be charging you a lot of money. My fees are only $55 an hour, no matter what the problem is. There's a lot of people doing my type of work who will charge you $1,000 an hour. Okay, you go to Sedona, California, you're going to pay top dollar because people there got big egos. Okay, sorry, people in Sedona, but I've met some people there with big egos. Now, I'm not saying all of you got big egos, but okay, I don't want to get hung next time I go out there. But you know what? We do have to keep this at a level where people can be comfortable with spending the money and knowing that they're going to have somebody willfully and morally look at their health problem and take care of it as fast as we can and take as little money as you can.
Well, wow. You are doing phenomenal work, Chris. Everyone that I know that has worked with you, and myself personally, and Justin's had a session with you, I'm totally blown away. And then my personal friends that have used you, I've seen some amazing things come out as well. So you got something going on there, mister.
You know what? It's working. This is what I do 5 days a week. I rarely take a vacation. I just can't because things get busy, and I can't leave. I work within a clinic. I'm in an office. This is not something I do out of my home in my spare time. This is my job, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Wow,
well, you can tell, and the fact that you do keep your prices affordable and that you can help people, your heart is just so transparent and amazing. So thank you for all you do.
Things are wonderful. Things are good.
Well, thanks, Chris, for spending some time with us today and sharing some thoughts about Lyme and spiritual attachments and all this kind of good stuff. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, as always, kids.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, Chris Kaylor, great show.
Always a joy. Always a joy.
I know, isn't
He's
it?
fascinating. His heart is great. He's so giving. He's personable. He's funny. He's the whole package. I like him.
You know what's interesting about Chris is that I feel like when he's on this show, and I feel like this with all guests, but it's interesting because when I'm listening to him, I'm thinking, we're only getting a little slice of the pie with Chris.
Right.
And this is the work that he does. But I feel like if we were to go out and have some food somewhere and talk to him at a restaurant.
With our neutralization ring and our sun ring.
Yes.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Our tachyon discs, our biomat.
And our pyramids over our table.
Yeah. One of us would be shrouded in some kind of silver sheet to protect EMF. But no, I feel like if we were... talking with him, though, we could get into some really, really interesting subjects like that.
Oh, I know we could. That's why it's so great to have him continuously back on the show, because you just never know. I mean, my sessions with him personally have been like, you call up and it goes away that you never saw it going, and he throws this information at you that I'm like, I don't understand half of what you're saying, but I am fascinated and I want to dig deeper. And you know what? I have to say, on a personal level, again, ever since I have been working with him, in the last 6 months probably, my quote level of consciousness, I never understood what that really meant.
It's just a fancy term for being aware of things, right?
Right. Now I understand that, but I never really understood what that meant before. It has just risen to a point where I didn't even think I was capable of going. And I know it's just the beginning, so it's been exciting for me just through that work. I think it's helped me to elevate and ascend, if you want to call it, into that more higher conscious level.
Yeah,
spiritually being aware and having my eyes opened, and it's been an awesome journey.
Yeah, we were just talking the other day about how amazing this journey has been for us.
Gosh.
And we've had this show for a year, and the people that we've met, the people we've made friends with,
the people that have reached out to us,
Yeah.
offered us things that we could never see come in, and just exposing us to the world, like, and in your purpose. Like, I know
Right.
that this is exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and now I feel like it's really what I'm supposed to be doing, and just seeing that all come together.
It's just fascinating. And,
Yeah.
I would love to, if Chris were
I'd
around.
love to sit down with Chris.
Yeah.
One day we will. One day we will.
You know what? I wonder if we should buy one of his pyramid things.
Oh,
That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't
I'd
it?
be interested in that. I'd be into that.
Have that hanging over your bed. That would be quite the conversation starter, like on the show.
Giving a tour
Wouldn't
of
it?
your house. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I would love to try one of those out, though. I think that there is so much to these things. When I stand over that neutralization ring, it has all kinds of effects that you can feel and that you don't feel. But what I've also felt that things haven't been happening that used to when you use that. So the lacking of those feelings and knowing things are going away is very powerful. Just from this little tiny ring.
Yeah. These tools, these spiritual kind of tools have been around. People have used crystals. In the Egyptian times, they used this thing called the Ankh.
Oh, right. Yeah.
ANKH, I think it was. And people have been using tachyon discs and these types of things to bring in energy. The same thing when we talked to Jay Gutierrez.
Oh, right.
With the low radiation stones. It's all just energy.
Right.
And he's got a necklace that has, and a little stone you can put in the water. And all this stuff is just tools that
have been put on the earth, and someone's cracked the code that they work, and they're able to help you if you let them.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Maybe we'll have to get those pyramids. Yeah, that would be interesting to do. Put over your bed, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I want to try that and a sun ring.
Yeah, that's
Get
right.
into the sun ring world.
Yeah, bring in the good stuff.
Right.
Because you know what? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not like it's costing you anything.
Right.
It's really just, what is it, $30 or something?
Yeah, exactly.
But if it, I think the fact that if it scientifically doesn't work, if there's a scientific fact, you can prove that it doesn't work. I believe that if you believe it will work, it will actually work to some degree.
Yeah, your
You know what I mean?
thoughts about it. What's going on.
Yeah, your thoughts will make it so almost.
Speaking of that, too, we didn't mention this at the beginning of the show, but Chris had emailed us prior to saying that he was sending out an intent for this particular show about a mass healing.
Okay.
So I would love to know if anyone listening to this show, if you could email me, Kate at Extreme Health Radio, or Justin at Extreme Health Radio, and just let us know if anything particular has happened to you while listening to this show. Because last time we had quite a few responses about people just listening to it that had felt things in their body going on. And I'm so fascinated by that, and I would love to hear any feedback.
That's right. We got some emails from people saying exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm. And it is, man, and I love saying this at the end of the show. So it's actually kind of cool that people might have been experiencing something going, what is this? And then now here at the end of the show, they're like, wow, that could be what that was.
Yeah, exactly.
And not having that preconceived information or notion.
Better yet, better than sending us an email, go to extremehealthradio.com/166.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And then post your comment in the box so that other people can read it.
Right.
And you can kind of share it with the whole community here.
That would be great. And personally, I'd love to know if you want to send me an email as well, just because I find this journey so fascinating. But yeah, I'll be checking that as well to see what's going on.
Yeah, it's interesting, the attachment issue. There's so many things he said, which is so good.
Yeah. This is quite new territory for myself and the world, I'm sure.
Isn't it just kind of blows you away that when you start realizing that health really probably has nothing to do with how we eat and our exercise program?
Yeah.
It really has everything to do with our mental state, our emotional baggage we have, the energy that we're carrying from past trauma. It's just fascinating because you see these people that are, theoretically unhealthy,
right,
but they're very positive, they're gregarious, they're outgoing, they're positive, they're just...
And they're drinking their Diet Coke all day long.
Yeah, and they live until they're, they smoke until they're 95 years old.
Right. And there is something to that, I think.
Yeah, there's something. So if you could do both, right? If you could eat right and exercise and then do this kind of stuff too.
And if you're going to smoke, do it through your neutralization ring.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
Good stuff. Well, we have to take off now. I have to make breakfast, and we have another call here coming up in about a half hour.
Yep.
So I have to make a little smoothie.
I'm going to too.
And I'm going to put a bunch of our new stuff that we got from Vitality Herbs and Clay in there.
Oh, we got to talk about that on our next show, Free for All.
Got a huge shipment from Michael King.
It's so exciting.
An order that we placed. Good stuff. So
talk about minerals and things.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in sharing this show, if you find it interesting, please share it with your friends, possibly on Facebook or via email. It really, really does help us a lot. And we are just kind of relying on all of our listeners to help spread the word of our work and hopefully get the word out to more people, ultimately to heal more people.
Yes.
And give them the power to heal their own bodies. So if you could do that, that would be super, super helpful. And if you'd like to take it a step further and either donate to our work, because all our shows are free. So far, we've got 166 of them that we do 4 times a week. They're all free. We would greatly appreciate that. Or if you want to check out our store and check out a lot of the really unique products that we sell, the Vitamix blenders and the rebounders, and kind of a really unique blend of products,
and
supplements.
more on the way.
Mm-hmm. So check out our store for lots of great stuff too. There's videos on there and all kinds of interviews and pictures and all kinds of good stuff. So,
and if you are interested, I'm sure you mentioned this earlier, but if you are interested in having an appointment with Chris Kaylor, you can email him. That's the best way to get a hold of him, is chriskaylor.net. You can email him right there and he'll get back to you.
That's right. And that's KEHLER, chriskaylor.net.
Right. That's the best way to get a hold of for an appointment. And yeah, for $50, it might just change your life.
That's right. So if there's ever anything we could do for you, let us know. We'd love to help you out. We're real people. We just want to help you get to a greater level of health. So you can always email us, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even as you educate yourself in the field of live food nutrition and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers or listeners medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this blog and during this podcast is discussed in the context of numerous conditions, it can be dangerous to take action based on any of the information on this podcast or in this blog.